Today we're doing comparing functions, which is on pages 169 to 174 of your book. Our essential question is, how can you use tables, graphs, and equations to compare functions? And again, as I've been doing, I've got a copy of your book pages, and we're going to go through those. Comparing a table and an equation. To compare a function written as an equation and another function represented by a table, find the equation for the function in the table. So here's a big clue. We're going to have one equation, but our second one, that's going to be number 1. Our second one is a table, and what we need to do is find the function for the table. So here's our example number 1. Let's see if I can up a little bit. Josh and Meg buy MP3 files from different music services. The monthly cost of Y.X songs is linear, so we're already told it is linear. The cost of Josh's service is Y equals 0.50x plus 10. So this is Josh. The cost of Maggie's service, so this one's Maggie's, is shown below in the table. And we have here that we've got 5 songs for $4.95, 10 songs for $9.90, 15 $14.85, 20 for $19.80, 25 for $24.75. It says to write an equation to represent the monthly cost of Maggie's service. We need to know what Y equals. Okay, that's what we need to find. So we can choose, because we've done this so many times, we can choose 2 ordered pairs to use this pair and this pair. And they use our slope formula. So they're going to do 990 minus 495 over 10 minus 5, and they get 495 divided by 5, which is 99 cents. So if I were to find the y-intercept, then I'm going to use the slope, which we just found, and any point. And we're going to substitute it into this form. And they're going to use that first point. So the y is 495. My m is 99 cents, and we're going to multiply that by 5. Well, we already know from here that 495 divided by 5 gave us 99, so if I take 5 times 99 cents, then I get 495. And that's the step they don't show you here, so let me put that in. We're going to start with 495 equals the 0.99 times the 5 plus the b. Well, that ends up being 495 equals 495 plus b. And if I solve my equation, and this is something that we're trying to get you to start working on, I want this to stay here, so I need to move this to the other side, and I can only do that by doing the opposite operation on both sides. So 495 minus 495 is 0. 0 plus b is b. And here I have 495 minus 495 is 0. So that's how they got that the y-intercept is 0. So they substitute back into that equation format, which we don't normally put plus 0. So this is Maggie's. So which service is cheaper when 30 songs are downloaded? So we have Josh's equation up here that we're going to use, and we have Maggie's equation that we're going to use here. For both of them, we're going to put 30 in x. So this was 0.50x plus 10. So we're going to put the 30 in for x. Well, 0.50 times 30 is 15. So that is really y equals 15 plus 10, and 15 plus 10 is 25. Here, this is it. 99 cents times 30 is 29.70. So that's really 70 because that's a money cost. So $25 or $29.70. Well, Josh's $25 is less, therefore it's cheaper than the $29.70 that Maggie would do. So that's why Josh's is cheaper. You have a Your Turn at the top of page 170 that you are going to be assigned, and you have to go through there. Go through the same process that we did on example 1 to find the cost, and then compare it to that equation. If Quentin wants to buy 6 books, so you'll put 6 in for the X. Explore activity graph. And I would say probably both of them. Find the equation. Table and graph show how many words Morgan and Brian typed correctly on a typing test. For both students, the relationship between words typed correctly and time is linear. So Morgan is in the table. What is Morgan's unit rate? Well, I would do 30 over 2, because remember, a unit rate here for you. A unit rate is always the y compared to the x. So I want 30 over 2, which is 15 words per minute. 1 minute. So find Brian's unit rate. Well, let's see. I can tell you this one right here. That's got to be 3 minutes for 60 words. So this would be 60, because that's my y, over 3 is 20 words per 1 minute. So which student types more words, correct words per minute? And that should be Brian, because he gets 5 more than Morgan. And yes, I want you to do the reflect at the bottom of page 170, because I want you to think about that. What would the difference be there? Explore activity number 2. Comparing a graph and a description. Okay. Jamal wants to buy a new game system that costs $200. He does not have enough money to buy it today, so he compares layaway plans at different stores. Layaway. Something that's going to kind of be interesting, because that's something that in our time right now, this being the middle of November, Christmas is coming up. Do we do layaway right now? You might want to think about this. This would be very real world to you right now. The plan at store A is shown on the graph. Okay, so this is store A. And it says, okay, balance owed. So I'm looking at this, and I'm going to say that's $100 is owed. And we're going to be paying on it every week, or 2 weeks it looks like, until we get down here to 0 at 10 weeks. And I see a point, I think, right there that I can use. And that's down 20, and that was 2 weeks. So we're paying $10 every week. Okay. Store B requires an initial payment of 60, so I guess maybe we had an initial payment of 100 here if we're going to owe 100. And weekly payments of $20 until the balance is paid in full. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for store A's layaway plan. Well, I've already done part of it, haven't I? Because there's my slope. But I also did the y-intercept. So x, the number of weeks, y is the balance owed. So y is going to equal 100. And I'll go ahead and put my y-intercept balance owed, where I'm going to take away $10 every week. So now I need to do the same thing for store B. So if we do an initial payment of 60, I'm starting on my y-axis, that's going to be 140, because I'm going to still owe 140. Okay, so this is y equals 140, and we're going to pay $20 every week here. So sketch a graph of the plan at store B on the same grid as this. So let me change colors here. I'm going to pull in my green color. Okay, so we're going to start at 140, and we're going to pay $20 every week. There's that one. So I'm going down 20 every week. And I can just take it all the way and use my straight edge and connect those points. So this was store B. How can you use the graphs to tell which plan requires the greater down payment? Well, the greater down payment means that I owe less. Okay? How can you use the equations? From the equations, what am I going to do? Am I going to look at my y-intercept? Because that's what I owe, isn't it? How can you use the graphs to tell which plan requires the greater weekly payment? Okay, from the graphs, it's going to be the slope, which go down at a faster rate. And the equations, I would look at the slope, the larger number. So which plan allows Jamal to pay for the game system faster? I'm going to leave that question for you to answer and give an explanation. And then we're to the guided practice. So let's see here, because I want you to do some of this. Okay, let's do 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and let's see if you can figure out the answer to number 5. What does the intersection of the two graphs mean? For instance, what would it mean right here when we're 4 weeks in and we owe $60? What does that intersection of the two graphs mean? Point where they're both intersecting, what does it mean? Kind of already gave you a little hint there. So let me go back and revisit what your quick check is. Okay. Quick check. And we had on page 170, I'm going to start doing my T for your turn. That one was at the top of the page. You also had a reflect. That's going to be the R. Number 2 at the bottom of the page. Then on page 171, there was number F. There was a question, number F, at the very bottom of the page. Let me remind you. Okay, this is when we're doing our Explore activity number 2, and I'll put that there. Explore activity number 2. It's question F at the bottom of the page. That's the one that I'm referring to there. Then you've got page 172. And this is the guided practice. Okay, we're going to start doing abbreviations. And you have questions 1 through 5. And then we will talk about the rest of the assignment in class tomorrow.